Do many Vietnamese drink?
Yes, Vietnamese, a lot of Vietnamese drinks, because we have the culture in Vietnam. We have a saying that a man without alcohol is like a flag without wind.
Oh.
So the flag should be flying, but it's not flying because there's no wind, no alcohol. So that tells you that the for especially for the male drinkers in Vietnam, there's a lot of like peer pressures and the culture for being man to drink alcohol, and actually the situation is quite serious, because everywhere in the countryside, in the rural areas, in the mountainous area, for lunch, for dinner, for even sometimes breakfast, people drink.
Breakfast?
Breakfast, and they drink, especially in the mountainous areas in Vietnam.
What about female drinkers?
Female drinkers also, there are people's drinks, but the rate of women drinkers are much lower than male drinkers.
What are the harmful effects that happen in Vietnam?
Well, one of the biggest issue is the domestic violence. More than 30 to 40% people have domestic violence related to alcohol. And the other major problem is drink driving. People, some of our small-scale research show in hospital, in some hospitals about 60% people admitted to hospital have drunken alcohol. So it's really a big issue in Vietnam, and the government is acknowledging it is a big problem now, and they're doing policies to counter those problems.
What are the policies put in place right now?
Actually, the government now, they have lowered the BAC level for drivers. Before for driver it's 80 milligram. Now has been reduced to 50 for motorcycles. But for car drivers and other vehicles, it's been reduced to 0. Yeah, so it's quite strict regulation, and but the challenge come in is to enforce it. So actually, the government in Vietnam, they have invested a lot of resources to buy equipment, and we WHO also support together with other international groups, to support the government to train and to provide the technical assistance in how to do the enforcement campaigns effectively, and how to develop and run social marketing effectively. That goes together with the enforcement to make it the policy more effective.
The enforcement part is the most difficult part. How has the enforcement been going on in Vietnam?
The enforcement in Vietnam, we also learn from the international best practices that we implement the random breath testing. So all the campaign by the police are designed and kept secret, and was implemented at various locations. And we target strategically the time that most people drink and then drive, which is around just after the lunchtime, and also from the 6 to 9 p.m. So that's when the time the people who eat and they drink and then they drive. And for the 2 years we've implemented in a couple of provinces in Vietnam, we also monitor the BAC in hospital. We actually see the rate of drink drivers reduced by nearly 20%, and the volume of intake before the campaign, for some people they have over 300 BAC, 300 BAC, and over 2 years it's been reduced by more than 30% of those admitted to hospital that involved in an accident. So So when we see that those are the results we want to advocate to the government. This has to be implemented in a larger scale, and social marketing and enforcement has to go hand in hand. You would have a much bigger impact because road traffic is a nationwide system. It's not localized in any province, but when implemented nationwide, it has a much bigger effect.
So people are afraid of this measure because the punishment is harsh, or why did people follow?
The punishment now is strict. For example, for cars, you will get the over 80 milligram BAC. You can get a fine of $300, and you could have the vehicle impounded for 60 days. 60 days, or if you cause a serious accident, then it could be kept for forever, and also you lose your license. But the challenge is still that the police, among many other things, they're also doing drink driving. And right now, what the police has been always saying to us is actually the time and the equipment has not been adequate for them to implement the enforcement as much more intensively as they would require to. So, but the social marketing that we run on national TV has been running with a very high intensity, and we publicize the enforcement campaigns so people know much more about the law, about the enforcement campaign of the police. So they know that if they drink and drive, they'll be caught, and they'll be fined for what they do when they're drinking and driving and participating in the traffic. So that's starting to change, but it's a long. I can tell you, it's a long struggle. Other countries like Australia, it takes 30 to 40 years, and we just started for a couple of years now. We imagine that's a long fight for us.